Hello everyone, this is the video of design of synchronous machine. In this video, we are going to learn about the design aspect of synchronous machine. I am Professor Pankaj Sharma, Assistant Professor from Department of Electrical Engineering, Sagar Institute of Science, Technology and Engineering, Bhopal. In this video, we'll basically start with output equation of synchronous machine. Before that, let's have a quick review of what is synchronous machine is, or you may answer what is synchronous motor is. Dear students, a synchronous electric motor is an AC motor in which at steady state the rotation of the shaft is synchronized with the frequency of supply current. The rotation period is exactly equal to an integral number of AC cycles. Synchronous motors contain multiphase AC electromagnets on the stator of the motor that create a magnetic field which rotates in time with the oscillations of the line current. The rotor with permanent magnets or electromagnets turns it in step with the stator field at the same rate. As a result, provides the second synchronized rotating magnetic field of any AC motor. Just we are about to start with design of synchronous machine. The most important part of this chapter is your output equation. While having output equation of synchronous machine, we'll consider VPH phase voltage, ZPH is equal to number of conductors per phase, NS is equal to synchronous speed in RPM, P number of poles, phi air gap flux per pole, KW winding factor, L is equal to gross core length, C0 is equal to output coefficient, IPH phase current, TPH number of turns per phase, NS is equal to synchronous speed in RPS, AC specific electric loading, somewhere it is denoted by small q, BAV is equal to average flux density, D is equal to diameter of the stator. Now, as we all know that output equation or output of the three-phase synchronous generator is given by output of the machine Q is equal to 3 VPH IPH into 10 raised to power minus 3 kVA. Assuming induced EMF EPH is equal to VPH, output of the machine is Q is equal to 3 EPH IPH into 10 raised to power minus 3 kVA. Now, induced EMF EPH is equal to 4.44 F phi TPH kW, 2.22 F phi ZPH kW. Frequency of generated EMF is equal to F is equal to PNS upon 120 is equal to PNS upon 2. P phi is equal to BAB pi DL and 3 IPH ZPH upon pi into D is equal to AC. Q is equal to 3 into 2.22 into PNS upon 2 into phi ZPH kW IPH into 10 raised to power minus 3 kVA. Output to motor is equal to 1.11 into BAB pi DL into pi DAC into NS kW 10 raised to power minus 3 kVA. Now Q is equal to 1.11 pi square BAV AC kW 10 raised to power minus 3 in a single bracket into D square L NS kVA. Q is equal to 11 BAV AC kW 10 raised to power minus 3 in a bracket into D square L NS kVA. Therefore, output equation Q is equal to C naught D square L NS kVA, where C0 is equal to your output coefficient, which is 11 BAV AC kW 10 raised to the power minus 3. Let us go to understand how should be the choice of specific loadings. From the output equation, it is seen that choice of higher value of a specific magnetic and electric loading leads to reduced cost and size of the machine. A specific magnetic loading. Following are the factors which influences the performance of the machine. First point is your iron loss. A high value of flux density in the air gap leads to higher value of flux in the iron parts of the machine, which results in increased iron losses and reduced efficiency. Second one is voltage. When the machine is designed for higher voltage, space occupied by the insulation becomes more, thus making the teeth smaller, and hence lower value of gap density should be used. Transient short circuit current. A high value of gap density results in decrease in leakage reactance and hence increased value of armature current under short circuit conditions. The next point is user stability. The maximum power output of a machine under a steady state condition is inversely proportional to synchronous reactance. If higher value of flux density is used, it leads to a smaller number of turns per phase in armature winding. This results in reduced value of leakage reactance and hence increased value of power and hence increased steady state stability. The next one is your parallel operation. The satisfactory parallel operation of synchronous generators depends on the synchronizing power. Higher the synchronizing power, higher will be the ability of the machine to operate in synchronism. The synchronizing power is inversely proportional to the synchronous reactance and hence the machines designed with higher value air gap flux density will have better ability to operate in parallel with other machines. Following are the usual BAV assumed. A specific magnetic loading assumed. Cylindrical rotor machine 0.55 to 0.65 Weber per meter square. Salient pole machine 0.50 to 0.65 Weber per meter square. Now let us understand a specific electric loading, the choice of a specific electric loadings. Below are the sum of the factors which influences the choice of a specific electric loadings. First one is your copper loss. Higher the value of AC, a specific electric loading, larger will be the number of armature conductors, which results in higher copper loss. This will result in higher temperature rise and reduction in efficiency. Voltage. A higher value of AC, that is your specific electric loading, can be used for low power machines since the space required for the insulation will be smaller. Synchronous reactance. High value of AC leads to higher value of leakage reactance and armature reaction and hence higher value of synchronous reactance. Such machines will have poor voltage regulation, lower value of current under short circuit condition and low value of steady state stability limit and small value of synchronizing power. Stray load losses. With increased value of AC, that is your specific electric loading, stray load losses will increase. The usual value of a specific electric loadings for turbo machine, it is 500002 100,000 ampere conductor per meter. Kindly note this. Salient pole machines, it is 20,000 to 50,000 ampere conductor per meter. Now let us understand salient pole machine. In case of salient pole machine, either round or rectangular pole construction is employed. In these types of machines, the diameter of machine will be quite larger than the axial length. I am repeating it. In these types of machine, the diameter of the machine will be quite larger than the axial length. Round poles. The ratio of pole arc to pole pitch may be assumed varying between 0.6 to 0.7, and pole arc may be taken as approximately equal to axial length and the stator core. Hence, axial length of the core per pole pitch is equal to L upon tau p is equal to 0.6 to 0.7. Rectangular poles. The ratio of axial length to pole pitch may be assumed varying between 0.8 to 3, and a suitable value may be assumed based on the design of specifications. Axial length of the core per pole pitch is equal to L upon tau p is equal to 0.8 to 3. Using the previous relations or the above relations, the main dimensions capital D and capital L, D and L can be separated. However, once these values are obtained, diameter of the machine must satisfy the limiting value of peripheral speed so that the rotor can withstand the centrifugal forces produced. Limiting values of peripheral speeds are as follows. Bolted pole construction is equal to 50 meter per second. Dovetail pole construction is equal to 80 meter per second. And for normal design it is 30 meter per second. Turbo alternators. These alternators will have larger speed of the order of 3000 rpm. Hence the diameter of machine will be smaller than the axial length. Kindly note this point. These alternators will have larger speed of the order of 3000 rpm. Hence, therefore, the diameter of the machine will be smaller than the axial length. As such, the diameter of rotor is limited from the consideration of permissible peripheral speed limit. Hence, the internal diameter of the stator is normally calculated based on peripheral speed. Peripheral speed of these alternators must be below 175 meter per second. This is short circuit ratio. We'll deal with this topic in the next video. Till this video, just note it down up to this turbo alternators. We'll meet in my next video lecture starting from short circuit analysis, short circuit ratio and their analysis. Okay, thank you so much.